I think we're live. Who do we got? We got Mike, we got Sassy Cat, we got Craig, RJ, we got Vimp69, we got Trolls, we got Deanna Fisher, Eric DL, Wendell, Matt, Strat CPO, Speaker, what's up? And Double R Guitar, and Vince, and Larry, and Dwight. They always want me to run an ad. I get a pop-up. It'd be a good time to run an ad. What's up, Larry? And Ogre Lord. Exactly, it's an impaler. What's up, Dan? What's up, Dwight? Hey, what's up, Tony? How's it going? Retro Puffer. We got Super Lead, Jimmy P. Yeah, that's weird, I know. You would think they could do a pre-thing, but... You should not see ads in mid-roll, though. I turn those off because that's annoying. But there's no way to talk. Here's what I found out. If you say, no, don't run ads, they still run ads. The difference is you don't get any money from it. But they're like, well, no, we're still running the ad, just that you won't get a cut of it because you've chosen not to monetize. It's like, oh, huh. Did bugs or fungus make the pitting in the wood? The pitting in the wood is caused by mineral concentrates. Minerals concentrate in a spot and it mineralizes the wood, and then it leaves a hollow. I think when they cut it, right? What's up, Herb of Fireside Studios? I think I saw Zach go by, and Jonathan, and Zofo. And Proto. Well, they used to fill it in. They always would fill it in. And then one time they didn't, and you know, they said, well, it saves a lot of materials because you don't have to fill them in. And, you know, people seem to like it. Looks more natural. Some of them are way different than this. Some of them look more like the Grand Canyon. They're more like a long ridge than a straight hole. It just depends on the cut, you know, on the particular lumber that you get. But you can see some are like longer. It just depends. And I had one here like 5 years ago that was really figured. This is mostly not, right? I mean, it's figured, but mostly in the wood. It's not, that one I had was really, I mean, it had like a Queechy gorge running through the middle of it. It was figured. Yeah, it's a Godo tremolo. What is it? It's a, what do they call that? Oh God! In fact, I was just talking about it. It like a one something T, something D. It's yeah, I can't think of the name. But I like Goto stuff. I just think Goto makes a good trem. You know, they make the original Edge trem for Ibanez. Ron has it, the 1996 GT. Needs a blue pickguard. You're insane. No way. Blue pickguard. I'll have what he's drinking. What's up, Kenneth? Well, the neck is maple, but the fretboard is ebony. It's a mahogany body, ebony fretboard, and a poplar burl top. But they also make it with just, you know, flame maple or quilted maple. And those finishes are gloss, unlike this, which is satin. Ron says, I have a Goto trem on a few guitars. It's outstanding. I agree. I think there's one of the best Floyd iterations out there is the Goto version of the Floyd. Now, is this the real Johnny Bean? I got Johnny Bean paranoia going on. But I agree, it is it is a sweet axe. What's up, Electric Gypsy Blues? Yeah, right, Ron. And if you'll notice, it gets progressively tighter as it goes down. I think there's a pushback spring, so it doesn't get too floppy if it's not all the way down, right? It's got like, it's good. It's good. They make a good trem. No, okay, I believe you. I believe you. Oh, well, the paranoia is real. Have you seen the Eastman T. Ambrosio? I haven't seen it. If they're at NAMM, though, I'll walk by the booth and check them out. Okay, let's mark the time. It is 7:10, and I don't know if anyone else had mentioned this. I didn't see it. I believe J Shaft realized that it's a new couch back there. Okay, I believe he was the first one. J Shaft. He did it, man. 10 minutes in, you realize that old couch is gone, and we got a new couch back there. Yeah, new couch. I bought it on Prime Day for, it was like $232, I think. Delivered. Pretty good. Some assembly required, but not a lot. They pack a lot of the stuff inside the cushions, you know, for the shipping. And you know, it took a little bit to put together, but I got it. You know what? I can't imagine using the little crappy wrench that they use in there. I had a full-on socket, deep socket set to attach those arms. I'm like, yeah, no. There's so many, because it compresses as you put it in. So I'm like, no. You gotta, if this is gonna be sturdy, you have to use like real tools. So no, I got it together. Yeah, they're a little wary of it. Cutie got on it and just like ran along it like an alien on a wall. The front of it, like, whoa, this is like a new giant cat toy. She was like crawling under it, like on the bottom under there, like, this is pretty awesome. I'm like, oh my god. And but they're slowly warming up. She slept on it last night, so she's warming up to it. But they're a little wary. Especially since there was a lot of commotion down here. I had to move a lot of things out of the way to get the old one out the door. I actually put it right out into the trailer and brought it up to the dump this morning. It was great. Right? I mean, there's a use for the trailer right friggin' there. Roll that puppy right up. Thank you. See ya. Yeah, no, it is. It's a tone couch. And it's a combination tone couch and cat scratching pole. The one that it replaced was given to me from the old office I worked in when they did a furniture rehab. You know, someone redecorated their office and they had this in there. That old couch in there is like, I am sure they paid a lot. I don't even want to know what they paid for that couch. I guarantee you that old sofa was probably, I'm going to guess in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. It had a broken leg in the back, and which happened during moving. And so I wound up sawing the leg off flat so that I have a platform and putting a little board under there, and then literally putting it on top of two 25-pound hex weights that acted as a platform. And that actually worked remarkably well because the weights were so heavy and stacked on top of each other. They were the perfect height as everything else. And it literally lasted that way for like, I think I've had that over 10 years. So it was time. Right, Budman? Budman says yes. Yeah, I saw that Fernandes Guitars is filed for bankruptcy. You know, it's probably a good thing because, as I've said before, there's too many guitar companies. There's too many guitars. And I'm holding to that. was talking about it with Speaker the other day. It's like how many guitars are getting churned out? How many buyers really are there? It's a lot of product, but apparently the market's there. I think what you're seeing is just a little shrinkage, you know? Like the whole market just went in the pool. And, you know, there was growth during the pandemic because people were stuck indoors, but that's over, long over, and people have moved on to other things, right? Outdoor activities, whatever. Right? I'm not going to buy a new guitar. I'm going to get a new, you know, mountain bike or whatever. Instead of using a treadmill as a clothes hanger, I used weights as a seat support. Exactly. Yeah, that's next level. I did see the Scallon Michelangelo collab. Yeah, who are the big Fernandes? I think someone just mentioned it. Brad Gillis, right? That's a Fernandes, right? That he used. Fernandes got big because, you know, Fender was just, you know, kind of having real bad quality in the late 70s and early 80s, and this is when like Fernandes like rises up. You know, them and who's the other one? I'm thinking of Fernandes and. Who was the one that had spring Tokai? Right, that was another. Kind of reminded me of Fernandes a little bit. Right, they were mainly sort of seemed like a Fender copy. To start, when they first came out. Eventually, everybody goes into all over the place. But to start, how they get into the industry, because I'm pretty sure they start out as like Strat copies or close to it. Yeah, Tokai. I was thinking of Tokai. Springy sound. And it looked like Stratocaster. What? Why? It doesn't say Stratocaster. It says Springy sounds. It's a backward F, but it says Fernandes instead of Fender. Got an N in there. Got a D. What? Fernandes, Fenders. Very, very different. Very, very different. Sure. No reasonable likelihood of confusion there. No, not at all. I don't want to say it was planned, but I'm just saying. Yeah, that's generally what happens is they start their own models, right? They get going by doing the copies. Kind of Kramer sort of started out that way. Kramer starts out with those horrible aluminum necks. But the first, like, foray into, like, you know, wooden necks, they used a Strat headstock. And Fender went, no. So that's when they moved to the beak headstock. And then that morphed into the hockey stick, and that goes into the sharp beak, and then, you know what I'm saying? They're a moving target. Kramer's a bad example, but they did start out with a Strat headstock. That was the first iteration. I saw one up there. I almost bought it. It's like an 81. You know, but it was a single pickup Strat. And I'm just like, do I really want it? Didn't have a Floyd Rose. It was pre-Floyd Rose days. So, I was like, It's like probably $600. Yeah, it's McDowell's all over again. Right? Yeah. Everyone stopped, but Dean still does copies. Well, Dean would tell you that they, because they've been doing it for so long, they now, by adverse possession, have the right, or that it predates the trademark, and therefore they're grandfathered in. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes now that that Gibbs lost at the appellate level and has pushed it back to have. They basically said the court made an error by not allowing. They excluded evidence of other makers that copied the mark, the shape marks. And so they said the court should have allowed in not just Dean's copies, but anyone who ever made a copy to see, like, how prevalent copying was of those marks. And so that's I think where it's headed on the retry, which I think I said before, and I said it last time when they had the problem and Viacom got off the hook. The appellate court, I think then as in now, it's a bit of an omen. And, you should look really hard at the viability of this moving forward, and maybe pushing towards settlement would make better financial sense. Because there's a chance that you're going to fight, and put your market in jeopardy. That is not an uncommon outcome of fighting for a trademark. That the court says, oh, you know what? Should have never allowed that one. And that's a real concern. So, or at least as certain marks, they're not allowed. Gibson owns, I'm sure, countless marks, a giant list of marks. Certain ones, they might say, these are all yes, but these no. So the marks in question, I'm just saying, I don't think the mark Gibson could be in jeopardy, but the outline, they own the outline shape of the bodies. And no one's contesting the headstock, they're contesting the bodies. So, we'll see. I think Fender, wasn't there a case where Fender sued and they basically said you waited too long? Again, sort of what the defense was in the Dean case, and how the jury found in that case. And you could kind of read the tea leaves of where the jury was at in that, because when they found against Dean and for Gibson for counterfeiting and these other things, it kicked in statutory damages in that. And those damages are the minimum, the bare minimum you can do is $1,000. And they had 4 counts. They gave them $4,000. Why? Because they had to. I suspect if it was not in the statute and that was the statutory minimum, they may have given less or nothing at all, right? You get $1, right? Nominal damages. Yeah, they're guilty, but you were never really damaged by this. So, again, just sort of reading the tea leaves with that jury. Now that case is thrown out. Now you impanel a whole new jury again, and you have a whole new trial. And now you bring in all this other evidence. Again, it's a little bit of a risk that's going on here, so we'll see. I don't think I've ever tried a Hohner copy, other than probably, does Hohner make the, no, I guess that's Hofner. I was going to say the Beetle bass. Or did Hohner, I thought Hohner made them for a little bit. What's up, Terry? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cheech. Yeah, that's right. I thought Hohner was a harmonica maker. In fact, I remember we used to sell them. Those in, what was it, Oscar Schmidt? Yeah, Hohner, yeah, the Marine Band, the blues, right? Then they make the Marine, the blues harp. how's the weather there? Getting the heat wave? We had the heat wave, dude. And we're on record for like we're on pace for not a record, but just like kind of a high number of days above 90. I think last year we only had like maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5. It was pretty low. The year before that we had 26. We're on pace for a good 26 to 30 this year, and a lot of days above 90. What's up, Terry? You grilling some ribs? That sounds great. So yeah, I've been mainly, curled up in a fetal position in the house, surrounded by fans, waiting for the heat to break. I hate it. I hate it. In the winter when it's all crappy and bleak and there's no color and it's really dark and everything's blah blah and you're all depressed. That's me in the summer. In the winter, I'm in my glory. I'm like, this is awesome. I love this. Okay? In the summer, that's you in the winter. Freaking hate the summer. Plus, it reminds me of my broken leg. Nothing good ever happens in the summer. I'm a sucks. Tony, you're in winter now? Lucky you. Soon enough we'll get there. Your AC went out waiting for a quote on a new AC. Oh, damn it. That sucks. Yeah, I hate that. Having been dealing with AC issues for years, but the bottom line is my AC unit is just way too underpowered for this house. This guy just, saved a little money by going with a smaller tonnage. And then arguing with me when I called him out. I said, no, you just do 4-ton. No, like, no, Gibson. And I'm like, yeah, but if you put in less and I don't like it, I'm going to be miserable and I'm going to bitch and I'm going to complain. And if you just put in the 4-ton that I ask, I can't complain because you put in what I asked you to, what I told you to. Read the room, buddy. And he just, no, would not do it. I said, because you have a 3-ton sitting back there and you don't have a 4-ton and you want to use the stock you have. That's what it seems to turn out into. It's hot there, yeah. It was pretty hot here for like, up and until, when it broke was day before yesterday. It was still hot. And it's still hot. It was like 88 degrees here today, but at least that's what my car said when I was out driving. But it's drier. It's not as muggy. It's in the high 50s instead of the mid 70s. That dew point was getting pretty gross out there. It was hard to keep it, comfortable anywhere. It's just disgusting. Exactly. The customer's always right. Tell the fan blade motor story. Oh my God, no! Don't get me riled up. That dude, that punk kid. Get a wheel puller. They closed. They're not even in business anymore. Probably for a good reason. Couldn't get good help. What's up, Seth? 79 there today, really nice, yeah. It's actually, the dew point has gone down enough that, with the air conditioner on and, everything, it's fine. It's very comfortable in here, but it's going to get gross again. It won't last. Yeah, I got a window unit for backup too, Tiger. It's and trust me, I've had to use it. And that thing is barely able to cool the first floor, let alone the whole house. Pretty bad. I know, it's toast to the guy who invented air conditioning. It is pretty damn good. What's up, Michael? Up at Prince Edward Island. I've been there. You have no AC in the house, 85 inside, 100 outside. Now, if I had no AC, if it was 88 out, it'd be like 110 in here and would never get below like 90. This house holds heat, except in the winter. Then nothing. You keep a spare motor for the fan. I don't go that crazy, but I do have like 3 spare sump pumps, just in case. You never know. What if the backup to the backup breaks? I have another backup. Alan, you bring up a good point. Pretty much the South was way more sparsely populated until the invention of air conditioning. There was a huge migration from north to south after the invention of air conditioning because, it made it more bearable, to get through the summers. Yeah, you're lucky, Terry. I have not tried the new Mod 3000. I'll have to check into that. Well, that's JTB. You bring up a good point. Back in the 80s when I used to work at this pretty, busy mall, I worked there over the summer of 85. And I worked in the landscaping. But what you realize, because, you take a break, you go to Brigham's and have, lunch or whatever. Go to Friendly's. We usually went to Brigham's over Friendly's. They had when you walked in, they had this area that sort of went down, sort of like a sunken living room, right? Everything's all tile, but you go down this flight of stairs, and it was almost like a little park in the mall, and it was all filled with benches. That was just packed with elderly people all day, trying to escape the heat from their house that has no air conditioning, or they have the money to pay for the air conditioning. They were elderly people that would be there from the minute it opened until the minute that freaking place closed. And then they'd probably go home and maybe turn their air conditioner on, but they didn't have air conditioning, but you would see the same faces over and over and over again. Because I worked in landscaping, I'd see them pull up. Right? It's not like they're homeless. They're pulling up in their car, and they're going in, got a newspaper. They pack a lunch sometimes, get down there, and they're just hanging out for the day. I don't remember Amigo the Donkey. But Bubble and Brook's a very different place now. It's really... First of all, I didn't realize that a friggin' brook ran behind it. I remember I went there with my kids, and we went around back, and there was the brook. I was like, oh, it's actually on a brook. Now the name makes sense. Have I been inspected by the CrowdStrike outage? No, thank God. But that was pretty severe. A lot of people subscribe. A lot of giant enterprise level businesses subscribe to CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is almost certainly going to be hit with lawsuits from clients, basically saying you cost us, millions of dollars. It could be litigated a little bit. Who knows how this is going to turn out, but. Dude, I worked in IT. I've been there. We did a rollout one time. I was like, I cannot believe you rolled this out. It literally ruined half the friggin' machines. Couldn't boot. I'm like, what are you doing? Who tested this? And there was a lot of harumph and finger pointing. But it was basically this new IT dude down in the Washington office who was like the head of the IT department. And, you know, he was some hotshot playing by his own rules. You had one of 4 working computers in the office on Friday? No way. That sucks. Yeah, you know, you're right, Bill. They should probably have some sort of insurance to cover massive outages beyond their control. That blue guitar is a Vola TNC, which someone said that stands for transparent nitrocellulose. I'm like, that's a great theory, except it's poly. There's no nitro on that. But a good theory, using your brain, just not your brain to look up the finish on it. Almost all moved in a new house. Nice. Get me started on CrowdStrike. Yeah, woken up in the middle of the night. Yeah. You're like, oh, hey, can you fix their problem? You're like, hey, now their problem's your problem. No, I've been there. You got a letter from Ticketmaster saying you're involved in their data breach. Yeah. Yeah, I should keep an eye out on the mail because I got some stuff from them. You know. Oh, I got an email from AT&T. I've been with AT&T in a couple of years. They're like, yeah, so like back in like 2022. I'm like, 2022? What are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, it was a data breach. And I'm just finding out about this now? It's like, what? I mean, what? It sounds like you were forced into telling me. At the same Vola Aries, and it just got an Ibanez RGR 5130. Oh, nice, in gunmetal gray. Yeah, yeah. Those are nice, yeah. You got that data breach letter too. I know. It's like, it doesn't, I wouldn't call it timely. Well, the funny thing is that there was some big data breach. My wife noticed that she had some charges, and she got a security text from Bank of America saying, was this you? And she was like, no. And she went on there. She was like, there was all these charges, between like $50 and $300. And she disputed them all, and they all got reversed. Yeah, right. No changes on a Friday. I know. There's really no good day, but you usually get down manpower. They admit that they delayed notification. Yep. right? You'll get the, was it South Park? They were handing out the lollipops at the doctor's office from the Sackler family, saying "Sorry." Like, these are the courtesy of the Sackler family. It's a lollipop that says "Sorry" on it. Sure. We're not even going to get that from AT&T or Ticketmaster. Yeah, it's the sorry sucker. What's up, Mark? Yeah, there you go. You got your Microsoft 3.1 recovery disks. No, what a nightmare. Trying to boot and roll back, and then you can't roll back. You got to boot in the safe mode and any IT person, as soon as they said, "Yeah, you got to boot in a safe mode and delete a driver," you're like, that old chestnut. Oh, sure. Who hasn't been there? What's up, Mark? Yeah, the dreaded blue screen of death. But it's not really the same blue screen of death. It's really different. It's not at like the machine level like it used to be. It's more like we're having trouble booting. We're having trouble running. Right? It would just halt and basically say, well, what it does is how the new Windows works is it tries to boot. It doesn't because it's restarted. It does that just sort of quietly a bunch of times. And it says, hey, you've got a problem starting. There's something wrong here. You need to go into like a recovery mode. This system won't boot. So that's usually, yeah, good old safe mode boot. Bring back Windows Vista. I actually had no problem with Vista because I had the proper hardware. The problem is that they approved them for a lot of those stupid like e-machines that did not have the proper hardware and it ran like crap. They had to run it in like stripped down mode. It was a nightmare. They should have never done it. It had a way higher video requirement. I happen to have a video card that was completely compatible with, I forget what I had, but I had something that worked with it. So I never had a problem with Vista. My Vista ran fine. I would say Windows 8 was more of a frustration than anything. That was like one of the worst iterations. I was like, what are you doing? This is they had to rush out, what was it, 8.1 or 8.2 something, very quickly. People were losing their minds. They're like, what are you thinking? And they're going to do it again. Right now they're trying to work on a way to integrate more ads right into the operating system. Thanks. Yeah, Windows meme was probably one of the worst. That and Bob. Never forget Bob. Yeah, bring back the old TRS stars. Yeah. Yeah, what was MS-DOS called at first? DDoS, Down and Dirty Operating System. And then the guy sold it. sold it to Microsoft, and they rebranded it MS-DOS, and the rest is history. Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to go to a subscription model. They look at other people raking in monthly subscription dollars and say, me too. I do remember Netscape. Totally. And I remember the big switch. I remember 2 massive migrations. Everyone switching from Netscape to Internet Explorer. And then, again, everyone moving from Internet Explorer to Chrome. Man, it is dry. I've installed OS Warp. It was okay. It had no apps. That was the problem with the software. It had no apps. You know, I did an install of BOS. Again, it had no apps. It's why I kind of stay away from Linux. Because Linux has, you know, the hardware support is tough. And the, you know, the apps just, you know, there are main apps there like browsers, and it's usually one in every category, but it's not the rich palette that Windows and the Mac is. I do remember CompuServe. Thanks for the heads up purchase, the Sennheiser 559s. That was a really good deal. So a few people said that they did that one. That was like 55% off. That was a good deal. So I checked in on it later, and I think they ran out of their main supply, so they started to bump the price up. But it took a couple of days. Firefox, I think, was not before Chrome. I think, I forget, they work off of like an open source. So the pieces of it could be from there. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that. That's Mozilla, right? Isn't that the original Firefox? Is Mozilla? Is that what? I thought Chrome was a different fork. It's like Chromium. Maybe it started as Mozilla, and it just, you know, kind of like Newly is a fork of Batacera, or Rocknix is a fork of Gelos, you know. Windows says new guitar day yesterday. Oh, nice. A PRS SE NF3 gunmetal maple fretboard. Nice. They're nice guitars. You digging it? I thought the pickup sounded really good. Hello, Ricardo. Yeah, Firefox is Mozilla. Yeah. What's up, James? Yeah, you liking it? I thought those pickups sounded really good. You know, sort of a, almost like a P90-ish, right? But a humbucker still. Which is always good. Yeah, comfortable. I found the neck very comfortable. It's a, definitely a different carve. The Silver Sky was a thicker neck, without a doubt. Version 1 of Firefox was November 2004, really. Or you mean Chrome? I remember switching to Chrome pretty, I want to say 2007, 2008. Yeah, they accused Microsoft of monopolizing the web browser market for Windows. Well, they did. They built in, Internet Explorer as like the. They weren't. They used to not be in the app business. They were just the interface, right? And if you wanted to buy the app, they sold it separately. But suddenly with this browser, they weren't selling it. They were giving it away, and they were putting it right up front, and they integrated it hard into the back end of Windows, so that when they got called out for it, they were like, "It's built in. The web browsing is built like directly into the operating system. Now this is the wave of the future." And yeah, they pretty much put Netscape out of business. But then Chrome came along and innovated way more than Internet Explorer, to the point where the new version of Edge, for at least a couple of years now, has been based on the Chromium open source. They basically raised the white flag and said, okay, if you can't beat them, join them. Right? Because they had their own version of Edge, and it sucked. They kept trying to say how fast it was. No one could give a shit. Finally, they just said, you know what? Between the extensions and all these, let's just go to Chrome. And that's exactly what they did. Yeah, and Opera now, too, right? Can't beat them, join them. Yeah, Microsoft, admitted no wrong, but agreed to change some practices. You know how that goes. Yeah, they probably got they gave anyone who jumped through hoops and filled out all this information a 10% off coupon on their next operating system purchase. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You compete against OS makers that are using baked-in versions. It's hard to compete with that. Hard to get someone to switch from something that's, built right in. Am I moving on my computers to Windows 11? I did it starting, I think, the last one. I don't think I have any more systems on 10. I upgraded them all, and they're all on 11 now. Yeah, ebony fretboard. Right there. Right, y'all. So, PRS came out with some, let's just check those out while they're in top of mind. P. Give me a P. Give me an R. Okay, dokie. Hello, hello. Right there. New Sandblasted. Now, the thing you need to know about Sandblasted is this is nothing new. Vola did a bunch of guitars like this. Charvel, I think, did some guitars like this. Jackson might have. I want to say that Chapman has got a bunch of guitars like this where they sandblast the grain, and then in the grooves, they paint the whole guitar, I think, black, and then they lightly coat it in like the blue, and then they take sandpaper and sand the blue off of the raised spots, leaving only the channels with the blue remaining. See how that works? Vola's done a few some blazes like this. I had one like this, and it glowed in the dark, the paint. And in a kind of a weird way, Stoner Shark is a little bit like that. Stoner Shark, I think, is a sandblasted top, which would make sense, you know, what being a shark and all, that sand would be involved. That's just science. All right. You got your sandblasted blue. Okay. You got your sandblasted. Oh, they market it. You know, can you imagine the meetings that they had about this? Sandblasted purple, sandblasted red, and sandblasted white. No sandblasted fuchsia or chartreuse. So what are we going with? What do you like? You like the blue, the green, the purple, the red, or the white? I think I'm going green. You know, just looking at them, maybe the blue. Purple is meh. The red is maybe if the red was maybe a little stronger. You know, I think I'm going green. What do we got? Tiger likes red. Matt likes green. Ron goes green. Ogre says either green or white. The blue is nice. Yeah, the blue is nice. And again, you're also, the problem is it's not the same grain, right? So you're like, well, I like the color, but maybe I don't like the grain on this one versus, say, that one, right? See, this grain's too right? It's Goldilocks. This is too wide, and that's too tight, and that's just right. That's why it's green. It's Goldilocks. All right. Green and white, green, purple. Yeah, we could do a poll. Can I do a poll? I don't think I can do 5 choices. I think it's only 4. I don't think I can do a poll, actually. I see a lot of people green, purple, green, red. I'd say green probably has the most. Again, though, we don't know because we're looking at this particular top, which is a little bit like more grainy in here versus this where it's way more solid, right? So it's popping more. There's not so much grace, you know, happening, unlike this, like in here, or even this, right? It's way more sort of rough, where that's way more solid. Even that's more solid. So again, it's just, you know, you'd want to order it from, you know, a place that maybe you could see the top first. Unless you just like to be, you love the element of surprise. Oop, right there. There was another thing too. Let's see if I can find it here real quick. The Toman has new Harley Bentons out. Let's see if I can find those real quick here. Jesus, where is it? Oh. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Well, they don't make it easy. All right, hold on. Almost there. There we go. And electric guitars. Getting very close. I think they're under alternative design guitars. Yeah, right there. Right there. So, new Harley Benton double necks. We reached for the PRS, but we came home with a Harley Benton. Not bad though, $549 for a double neck. The difference between this and the prior one is that this is way darker cherry red. The other one was a much brighter red color. And I could have sworn, yeah, they have a new white one as well. And they're doing these in a, they're doing these in a single version too. Not just a, and what are those? Teslas? What are those? Tesla pickups? Sounds suspicious. Suspiciously awesome. Yeah, look at that. Ye old double neck. What are you going, cherry? Or are you going white? Well, white kind of has a look. A little bit. Oh, a little bit. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, the backbreaker. You'd have to hang it off a harness from the ceiling and then just sort of like roll up to it in a chair. But the white looked pretty good too, yeah. Yeah. Swap out the pickups right away for the PRS Sandblasted. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the PRS pickups. Vola wins Guitar of the Week, hands down, yeah. But you haven't seen Monday's guitar yet. What was that? What kind of pickups in the Sandblasted? That's a good question. Let me see if they say. What Where are the pickups? They are. Well, it's an SE. So whatever they are, they're imported. Do they have a name? They call them 85/15 S pickups, which provide extended high and low end with clarity and balance. Well, a push-pull tone has control to and versatility of coil taps. Okay. Oddly written, but we'll go with it. Yeah, they're saying 81. These here. It's your 8115s. 8515s. It's your 8515S. Sure, you know those. It's those. You think THU would ever come out with a hardware floorboard modeling unit? I don't know. You worry about a software company getting into hardware. Sort of stay in your lane. Sometimes when that happens, it really puts, because they're not really ready for the supply chain problems and manufacturing problems and having to support hardware versus software. There's a lot more, problems with that. So I don't know. Maybe. Have to be a hell of a markup. Sort of reminds you of Agile guitars. I wouldn't doubt if they weren't made in the same factory or close to it. There's another brand. Who else? Was it Fesley? If you look closely at some of the Fesley stuff and the Donner stuff, there's differences, but there's a lot that's very similar. You could almost imagine if they were made in the same factory, just a slightly different specs, right, to make sure that they have some individual traits to make them stand out. But if you put them side by side, you would almost say, well, more is in common than different. 80 style pickups, hence the 85. Okay, that makes sense. And they came out in 2015, hence the 15. And S means that it's from overseas. Exactly. If Alex Lifeson were still alive, he'd probably play a Fesley or a Sandblasted SE. We'll never know. Probably play a headless double neck. Also a good choice. Play a necklace guitar. That's where it's all headed, right? Forget headless, necklace. Probably It's just going to head to AI. You're just going to bark at your guitar from across the room. Play some good riffs. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, I know. We're doing great. It does. It was designed exactly. It was designed to solve the neck dive issue. What if we just didn't have a neck? Necklace but not fretless. Of course, we're not animals. He's still alive. Shh. I'm just saying, if Jimmy Page were still alive. Okay, if Jimmy Page were still alive, he'd probably be playing a Steinberger. Or a PRS double neck. Exactly. See, Alan raises a good point. If Alex Lifeson was dead, he'd be Deadson now, wouldn't he? Again, that's just math. Jimmy Page is playing his 34-year-old girlfriend. Oh, God. Beat it, Grandma. Belichick has a 24-year-old girlfriend. I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. The Zach Wild version. So, have you guys seen any of the Satch footage doing the Van Halen tunes on tour from the countless iPhones and, you know, other video footage coming out there? I think the stuff I've seen, I thought Satriani sounded friggin' fantastic. First of all, he's nailing the tone in a major way with the chorus and all that. But they were doing Pound Cake, and my God, he was nailing all those harmonics and everything. I think he's doing a pretty bang-up job. I think he's doing great. I think he's doing really good. I think, I think he takes it seriously, and I think he's like one of those dudes who like puts the time in to like really know it is, really well. And it sort of came across. And the footage I've seen, I haven't seen anything, even remotely. In fact, I think the whole band is pretty much kicking ass. Michael sounded freaking great. His voice is, quite frankly, I think sounded even a little bit better than Sammy's. I don't know how many VH fans trash Sammy. You know, people are adverse to change. You know, so they liked Dave. They didn't like it when Dave, you know, and the rest of the band had a falling out, and then they get Sammy, and then that has a falling out, and then they had Gary Sharon for a single album, and that falls apart, and then they're back with Dave again, and I could have sworn, didn't they do a tour with Dave and Sammy at one point? And it was just, you know, I don't know. You know, yeah, Dave's, you know, some people, it just depends on them. Like, Paul Stanley's lost his voice quite a bit as he got older. Gene Simmons, not so much. You know? Still, you know, his voice still, you know, and it's not quite as strong as it used to be, but it didn't take the absolute nosedive like Paul's did, you know? Like Bon Jovi, he had trouble, right? His voice took a note. It just depends. Dave, right? He had trouble. But other people, you know, seem to go on. One of the best, Rob Halford. Rob Halford is still doing pretty good. The last time I saw, what's his name? Dickinson there, Bruce Dickinson sing, he sounded pretty good too. Those are not easy songs to sing. They're very operatic, and they're kind of up there. I thought he sounded pretty good. You know, yeah. Some it just it depends on the guy. It just depends on the person whether they hold on to the voice or not. Sammy is definitely starting to sound a little raspier. She's getting old, a little more grandfatherly. But, you know, he's still hitting the notes for the most part, and I'm sure his voice gets better as the night goes on. Right, and he warms up and gets going. But I think Halford still has it. I think, you know, the last time I heard Ozzy sing, you know, I thought he actually sounded pretty good. Didn't sound too bad. Probably had a lot of auto-tune going on. I don't care. You know. Yeah, Klaus Meine from the Scorpions has always been good. His voice never really went. Right, his stayed pretty strong throughout. Same with Dio. Dio really never lost his voice either. His seemingly stayed powerful, through the end of his life. Daltrey still has it. I had a friend go see Daltrey recently, and he said, you know, I think he sounded better than the last time we saw him. He said, I think his voice sounded even bigger. He goes, almost like the last time. Maybe he was sick or something. He wasn't quite hitting. He goes, this time he was much better. He goes, and he was clearly singing. You know, but you wonder if they changed the key. But he was doing really good. He said Daltrey sounded great. Yeah, Paul Rogers, I haven't seen it. Haven't seen any of the footage. Yeah, Klaus Meine, yeah. I think Sammy sounds pretty good, Sammy Hagar. You know, it's starting to go a little bit, but he's still hitting the notes for the most part. Robin Zander the same way. Robin Zander has, again, a very powerful voice, but the last time, it was pretty recently, you could start to hear it. But again, this, you know, how old is Robin Zander? He's got to be pushing 70. He's got to be in his late 60s at the very least, because I know what's his name is in his 70s, Rick Nielsen, but he was a little older than the rest of the guys in the band, right? He was like the older member, but he's up there. Yeah, Barry Manilow. I haven't heard Barry sing in a while. Weekend in New England. Xander's 71. Wow. Yeah, I knew he was at least late 60s. Yeah, Daryl Hall. his is sort of stuck together, you know. He hasn't really lost his. You know, without a doubt. But I caught a bunch of the footage. I was out there checking it out. I thought it sounded pretty good. Yeah, Sammy is 77. My God. Yeah, Hall & Oates became Hall V Oates. They looks like they're all wrapped up in a contract dispute. I think Oates just wants out. He wants to just sell it off, but Hall has some say in it. And that's where the dispute happens. Yeah, he isn't out of touch, but he might be out of time. There's a wonderful, it's really well done. Mystery Science Theater 3000, one of the characters there, Crow T. Robot, does a one-man performance, right? One of the break sketches where he does everyone from Match Game, including the host. And he goes around and does everyone's voice, you know, Nipsey Russell and Charles Nelson Riley and, you know, all the regulars, Kit Carson. And he basically, at the end, like, gets back and starts talking about, like, yeah, Brett Summers. Oh, Brett Summers. He does Brett. He does all the, you know, all the mainstays from the show. But then it gets really dark, right? Where he starts to get into, like, how all his friends are gone, right? Because I think at the time they were producing that, I think they had all passed away. And, you know, and looking back at his life, and was his life, like, worth it? I mean, it got really heavy. And he's like, no, and he sort of, like, rationalizes that he made a lot of people feel very happy and all this stuff. I mean, for a kid's show with goddamn robot puppets, it got freaking heavy. I was like, how the hell? Richard Dawson was one of them. How the hell he didn't win an Emmy for that? At least a Cable Ace Award. For Christ's sakes, it was well done. And by the end of it, he sort of realizes that, no, he had a life worth living. It was like, holy shit! What am I watching? It was really. The other thing is that you know, of course, he goes through. I think the question he asks is that old saying. He goes, the happiest moment in a man's life is the day he buys a boat, and the day he blanks, right? And of course, the answer is the day he sells it, right? That's a very old thing. Man's happiest day is the day he buys a boat and the day he sells it. And of course, when he goes to get all the answers, all their answers are a variation on, like, butt or ass or rump, because that was sort of like the running. Doesn't matter what freaking question you asked, they were going to answer, like, you know, patootie and derriere. And you quickly sort of get, oh, it's a satire. Oh, man, it's well done. It is well done, man. Blank a doodle-doo. Blank willow. Exactly. If John Fogerty was still alive, he'd be using a Mr. Microphone. Now you're getting it. Oh man, I got a good guitar coming up this Monday for Guitar of the Week. I'm looking at it right now. That's a good looking guitar right there. That's a good looking guitar right there. I'm just saying. Has the V gone back? The V has gone back. We have 3 new ones in the his owl. When I got all disrupted putting together that new couch, that was quite the room disruptor. But I did get the video shot for the Guitar of the Week for Monday. I just have to edit it, and we're good to go for Monday. And a new video come out today. The new Donner Hush Pro just came out. Do, 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 do. Are the dots on the top? Yeah. Can you see it on top dot cam? It's a little washed out, but you get it. I've never tried out the SBS pickups from Guitar Fetish. Guitar Fetish is he's got quite a business going there. He had quite a few. He really got into doing. It was started out with like parts and then pickups, and then kits and then whole guitars. He's really built quite a business there. Have a good one, Ed. Do. It's a hard song. Do. The town charge you for getting rid of the old couch? Oh no. No, unfortunately they have a front loader there, and what you usually do is just throw it in the front of the front loader, and then he'll dump it up into the dumpster. But he was off way on the other side, like pushing back a big pile of brush. So I just dragged it over in front of the dump and just left it for them to do. I couldn't. There's no way I was going to try and lift. I had an office chair, and I had the sofa, but there was no way I was going to try and lift that and try and throw it in the dumpster. I just left it out front and let nature take its course. I have a feeling if I go back next week, they'll be in the dumpster by the miracle of nature. Oh, I trailered it. I trailered that thing right down there. But then I dragged it out of the back of the trailer and over to the dumpster and just sort of left it in front. Now it's your problem. God, I love that trailer. It's the best thing ever. How the hell would I even get it up there without that trailer? You know, it's a pretty big sofa. Never gonna happen. Oh, no way. Oh, wow. We've got new members, people. BC Rich. Ben Tom. Michael Krause. Phil Sakira. Joseph D'Angelo. Shame. Shame. There's a shame upon your house now. Shame. Yeah, split ends, right? I got you. G. Right? You know who still sounds good? Def Leppard. They had a show recently on YouTube. It's within the last 2 months. And oh my God, and they're clearly, you know, this isn't backing tracks. They're clearly playing and singing because it's not perfect. But my God, those, you know, because those guys are, you know, I'm in my late 50s. Those guys are at least 5 years older than me. They got to be in their 60s. And Vivian Campbell still sounds amazing. He hasn't aged a bit. Vivian Campbell looks, Joe was looking older, but he stopped dyeing his hair. His hair is all silver now. Like, nice trumpet, right? They became Crowded House. My wife wanted to go. I think she bought the tickets. Pretty sure she bought Crowded House tickets. They're going on tour. Was it Crowded House? I thought it was Crowded House. Maybe it was not. Maybe it was might be Tears for Fears. One of those bands is coming around. Yeah, Phil Collins, right? Yeah, I know when they were with when Dio was had Vivian Campbell, my God. Like, who is this guy? You know, some of those solos. Exactly, if Angus Young were still alive, he'd be playing a Rickenbacker. I never liked the Ricks. We had one or two come through the music store, but they were very bright, very jangly. I just didn't care for the sound. You know, it's like I'm way into metal back then. I was like, ugh. And they were kind of stiff. You know, I felt like they played very, very stiff. But, you know, it's a look and a sound. For some people, that's the only guitar they'd ever consider. Yeah, the Rainbow and the Dark solo. There's a whole bunch of solos. The We Rock solo. I mean, there's so many great solos. He really did. He was kicking ass. Yeah, you just picked up a real X100? Yeah. They used it for the clean tone, right? Was it the distorted tone? I could have sworn there was a, sort of a clean. Ricks are really hard to play with its guitar or bass. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a weird how they kind of got... Who made the Rickenbacker popular? Was it Chris Squire? Some big player had to start playing Rickenbacker and just influence a whole generation. Because the Rick was sort of it for a little bit. I got to think it was like... who was the top bass player playing the Rick? Chris Squire is the name that's coming to mind. McCartney, they want him to try it. If you watch that documentary, he doesn't seem to like it. He seems to be sort of like meh about it. Kind of like wants to just go back to his, his Hofner. He's sort of like, Yeah, Lemmy, that's true. Lemmy did play a Rick, didn't he? I think you're right. Lemmy was a Rick player. My God, you forget that, don't you? I think of Geddy Lee, but Geddy Lee didn't play a Rick for very long. Yeah, that's right, Geddy Lee. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, Little Tinny. Someone else on Geddy Lee too. Yeah. THU has the rock guy. I know. They sound pretty accurate. They're pretty good. Yeah. Lemmy. Yeah. Oh, did Phil Lynott play a... Was he a Rick player too? Wow. Geddy Lee went up until Signals. That's the tour I saw them. I saw him on the Signals tour. And then I think again on the Roll the Bones or whatever that one was. Big Money. Oh, was Entwistle? See, when I think of Entwistle, I think of Ambernick. Right, wasn't he a big Ambernick guy? Yeah, Cliff Burton too. Glenn Hughes. All right, so we got a few out there. It seemed to be like a generational thing. Yeah, Chris Squires, who when I think of a Rick, I think of Chris Squire for some reason. Right. First of all, he's a very influential bass player. The guy from Yes. And, that goes a long way into influencing a generation. Yeah, but Tom Petty played the guitar. I'm thinking more of the bass. From Man of War. Don't forget my 80s metal band, Mega Man of Wargasm. Yeah, Hendrix bassist used the Rick too. Interesting. Oh, was that the one we saw? We saw the Hold Your Fire tour? I was wondering what tour that was. We were in the loge right behind the mixing board at the opposite end of the floor, but kind of front row or close to front row. I think we were front row. And I remember the sound at that show being so friggin' good. So amazing. Probably because we were sitting so close to the mixing board. Was it the Michael Schenker? See, I forgot about that. The Michael Schenker group opened, right. Who went to that? Was it speaker? Was it you, me, and the bass player? Our BFF? Oh, right. Right. Yeah, now I remember it's the four of us. I remember the audio being quadraphonic, and they had speakers to the left and right, up in the and behind us, way up. And it sounded so friggin' good. I was like, this might be the best sounding show I've ever been to. Just sounded so good. Yeah, right. It sounds like everyone used one at one point, right? Who's that guy who played the Strat? Right? Remember that guy? Well, there's a bit of a list. Used one until the neck needed to be adjusted and the intonation set. Yeah. Then you might as well burn them. I would just sit there when I was a kid, like, probably drove my family crazy. When you go to a show with good sound, you appreciate it. I've been to shows with can't hear shite. 2 shows come to mind. Went to go see Peter Gabriel, and they had just extended the balconies down. Now you're trying to look, you're up in the loge, now you're trying to look through this little slit. The stage was in the middle, a revolving stage. You could barely see the guy, and all you could hear was people talking back, because it would just bounce back from the friggin' overhang. Couldn't get the sound to go up in your tiny little slit and come up and get to your ears. They needed to line the underneath with speakers, and they didn't do it. And of course, oh my God, it was just, you just heard everybody talking. Could barely hear the band. It was like you were listening to a band in another room. It was awful. And the Who out at Foxborough Stadium, before Gillette was built, the old one. And it started out okay, but when they came out in the second half, they were noticeably quieter. And there was a dude like 3 rows behind me singing every lyric to every song at the top of his lungs. And that's all you could hear was that douchebag singing. Like, thanks for ruining it, bro. Oh, you know all the lyrics. Oh, wow. We're all impressed. You saw the Who in Vegas. I know someone who saw the Who recently and said that Dalty just sounded amazing. Said the whole band sounded really good. Yeah. When I think of Geddy Lee, I think more of a Fender. Yeah. Or quite frankly, a Steinberger. Kind of like Sting, right? He's always playing either one or the other. The Who? Exactly. You saw Peter Gabriel. It sounded great. I think they must have changed how the venue handled sound. Like I said, those balcony extensions were relatively new. And there probably hadn't been enough complaints yet about how crappy the sound was now in the loge because they had extended the balconies down so far. Again, just the greed ruins the experience of like a, you know, a quarter of the friggin' audience. Oh yeah, Daltrey's making a Keith Moon. I could see that. Wants to get it out, you know, in his lifetime. Did we ever have one? I don't think we did. Yeah, I'm sure someone, VH1 or MTV, they must have done a behind the music on that at some point, no? Yeah, I remember when Getty was out hawking the coffee table book. He was doing a big book tour, a big book publicity tour. He was everywhere. Getty's a huge baseball memorabilia collector. I did not know that. What am I hitting? I'm hitting this on my foot. It's the mic. When did you see him on what tour? Some on the So tour at the Centrum. That might have been it. Was he center? Was he theater in the round in the center of the floor? Was that the stage setup when you were there? That could have been it. What's up from Canada? I can't remember the lyrics. Those are cheap sunglasses. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, not in the round. That was probably a different tour. No, he was in the center of the floor, like a theater in the round where the stage was rotating, doing that old chestnut. I saw a Weird Al like that, and it was really good. He was friggin', he was kicking ass. Are the pickups screwed into the body? Yeah. Oh God, am I hitting my foot? You know. Do 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 do. Ooh. Right. Looks like Seal's face. Oddly enough, this guitar was once married to, who was he married to? Heidi Klum? Aloha over in Kauai. Kauai? Hawaii? Something like that. Yeah, Heidi Klum, right? Yeah. Do. Yeah. So tune in on Monday. New guitar of the week. What else I got going this week? I'm not sure. Did anyone get anything on Prime Day? I got the couch. That was about it. Some people said they got the headphones. That was a good deal. I almost bought a second set for the attic just because they were so cheap. And I was like, don't do it. You're just buying it because it's cheap. You don't need it right now. Hold up. You need the couch way more. That other couch, it didn't run its course. New Fire Sticks, yeah. A lot of the Amazon products go really heavily discounted on Prime Day and Black Friday. Yeah, got the Sennheisers, yeah. Oh yeah, you got a GE7 equalizer? I had one of those back in the day. The old GE7. Yeah, that was a popular pedal. Because I thought you could crank it up a little bit and get a little bit of gain out of it, right? You could sort of push the front end of your amp a little bit. Yeah, kind of. You were looking at a TV, but you couldn't get the deal you wanted. Yeah, didn't change in price. Yeah, that happens. You're saying, well, let me hold off and see if it goes any cheaper on Prime Day. Then it doesn't. You say, well, maybe I'm just holding off. So yeah, let me see how they're doing in November. Cat-proof. The first thing Cutie did was crawl along the front like a goddamn ninja on the side of this thing. I was like, what are you doing? Because she's so heavy. Mostly your ass is dragging across the floor. She's crawling it. My wife was laughing so hard. I'm like, she goes, well, apparently it's a giant cat toy. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Now it's a futon. That back part can actually fold down if you need to, but I wouldn't say it's particularly comfortable. I don't see it ever being used like that, but you could if you had to. Yeah, they were tearing it up. Oh yeah, no. The first thing they do is they smear their ass all over it. It's funny because Cutie usually likes to sleep on that sofa, and so she wouldn't go on it. She's like, "There's something different. Something's wrong." I had to pick her up and put her on it, and then she was like, "All right, it's cool." And then she wound up spending the night on it. Does my lav mic have an XLR? It does not. It's picking up all the noise and then some. Exactly. I'm tired to the scratching post. I've been down because I've been tired. Scratching post. When I saw Zappa, they did that, which one of the few times they did that song on that tour. If you go and look at the set list, if you go to like setlist.fm and you go and you look at the tour, he didn't play that all that often on that tour. So I was lucky that they played it that night. Yeah, they got the fever. Oh my God, she was running out from underneath that like a goddamn, like the world's fuzziest rocket, like a big old ball of fluff, like a tribble on full speed. This thing running out of there to run down the hall because the hall I had to clear everything out of the hallway to get the old couch down there, and out the door. So I had to pull a lot of crap out of there to get, to open the hallway up. So now she's got all this running room. So she's like running down like it's all new. My God, the cat fur I pulled out when I was clearing everything out. Just everywhere. And I had the shop vac go, and that shop vac is like 90% cat fur in there. All Yep, like a little fur ball with a rocket strapped to it. All right, guys. I think we're about to turn at 9 p.m. Almost sounds like Woody Woodpecker. We should call it a week. Have a good one, Speaker. And I will see you all next week. Tune in this Monday for an all-new Guitar of the Week. I like this one this week. And affordable. In fact, this next round of guitars is fairly affordable. So they're all in the sort of the affordable category. So maybe one isn't. Okay, maybe one isn't. But the other one's very affordable. No, you rock. Welcome, all my new members. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Super extra thanks for anyone who contributed. And I saw Tony getting all those new memberships for my new members. Welcome. And Brofist and the Mod Squad. Hashtag Brofist, hashtag Mod Squad. And we will do it all again in a week. And there you go. And yeah, I'm heading out. Heading out to the highway, and by that I mean probably the kitchen, make another coffee. All right, no, you rock. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out. I always appreciate it. And we'll do it all again in a week. There you go. And I'll see you next week. We'll do it all again, because that's what we do every week. Have I ever missed a week? I guess the weekend of Buckethead and the stomach virus. Those are the only... And the Buckethead one, I came on later that night. Stomach virus knocked me out. I was not coming on. that was not happening. All right, dudes. There you go. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week. Check out Guitar of the Week on Monday. There you go. No, you rock. All right. I'm off. Later.